appears to 7 disciples for the third time, and also the dialogue between Jesus and Peter. John 21, 15, 19. This is the mini workshop number 109. The miracle about the filling of 2 boats with fish also appears in Luke 5, 1, 11. They are not exactly the same, but this same theme: the fishermen, the apostles, the presence of Jesus, the miraculous fishing, and the talk with Peter. John 21, 1 to 6. After this, Jesus appeared once more to his disciple at Lake Tiberias, and this is how it happened. Simon Peter, Thomas, also called the twin, Nathanael, the one from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples of Jesus were all together. Simon Peter said to the others, "I'm going fishing." "We will come with you," they told him. So that they went out in a boat, but all that night they did not catch a thing. As the sun was rising, Jesus stood at the water's edge, but the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. And he asked them, "Young men, have you caught anything?" "No, nothing," they answered. He said to them, "Throw your net out on the right side of the boat, and you will catch some." So they threw the net out and could not pull it back in because they had caught so many fish. The disciple whom John loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Peter heard that it was the Lord, he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken his clothes off, and jumped into the water. The other disciple came to shore in the boat, pulling the net full of fish. They were not very far from land, about 100 yards away. When they stepped ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there with fish on it and some bread. Then Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you have just caught." Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net ashore full of big fish, 153 in all, big fish. Even though there were so many, still the net did not tear. Jesus said to them, "Come and eat." None of the disciples dare ask him, "Who are you?" because they knew he was the Lord. So Jesus went over, took the bread, and gave it to them. He did the same with the fish. This then was the third time Jesus appeared to the disciples after he was raised from death. You can see this picture. Jesus talking to the disciples and the fish cooking. And then you see, if you notice, there are 4 fish and a bread of basket that Jesus started sharing with them. Then comes the dialogue between Jesus and Peter. You can see this, read this in John 21, 15 to 19. After they had eaten, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these others do?" "Yes, Lord," he answered. "You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Take care of my lambs." A second time, Jesus said to him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," he answered. "You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Take care of my sheep." A third time, Jesus said, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter became sad because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" And so he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said to him, "Take care of my sheep." I'm telling you the truth. When you were young, You used to get ready and go anywhere you wanted to. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will tie you up and take you where you don't want to go. In saying this, Jesus was indicating the way in which Peter will die and bring glory to God. Then Jesus said to him, "Follow me." Here you have Jesus talking with Peter in a very, very telling dialogue. And the rest of the disciples were eating, still eating. So what is all this about? In contrast in the gospel to find the central character, facts, items, and activities presented in this gospel, this is the third time that Jesus appeared to his disciples. The third. Some of his disciples were the fishermen, as well as Peter. And they went back to their profession to try to earn a living. But all that night, they did not catch a thing. And Jesus stood on the water edge and asked them, "Haven't you caught anything?" They didn't recognize Jesus, but they answered, "Not a thing. Not even a sardine." Jesus said to them, "Throw your net out on the right side of the boat, and you will catch some." They threw the net out and could not pull it back in because they had caught so many fish. To say to Peter, "It is the Lord." John was the first one to notice that it was the Lord, to recognize him. When Peter heard that he was the Lord, jumped into the water immediately. He couldn't wait. The other disciples came to shore in the boat, pulling the net full of fish. Remember, they couldn't put the fish into the boat. They had to pull the net because there were so many. And when they stepped ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there with fish on it and some bread. So the Lord was cooking already. And Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish you just caught." After they had eaten, Jesus said to Simon Peter three times, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter answered, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Then Jesus made it clear to Peter that if he loved him, he would have to follow him and had to take care of his people. Remember, we're talking of the future Saint Peter, the first pope. You need to follow him and take care of his people. It also is also evident that the Lord was ratifying Peter as the rock upon which he will build his church, of course, the first pope, to take care of his people. You have Peter in the dialogue with the Lord, and the Lord giving him the keys of the kingdom, reaffirming, ratifying his role. This gospel, the Lord is teaching us, and we should be able to identify at least two extremely important teachings. Teaching number one, the apostles, they really didn't understand that they would have to catch people, to bring people to the Lord for him, not fish. So they went back to their job because the Lord was not there anymore. So let's go back and try to earn a living. It kind of makes sense. You can read about this in Matthew 4:19 and also in Mark 1:17. And here you have a beautiful painting with Jesus in the shore, and the guys couldn't even put all the fish into their boat. So they have to pull it, the net, alongside with the fish. This is number two. Peter denied the Lord 3 times. Remember that? Because it was cold, the household servant and the guards had made a charcoal fire. They stood around it, warming themselves, and Peter stood with them. They asked him again, "You're not one of his disciples, are you?" He denied, saying, "No, I'm not." For the third time. So the Lord asked him 3 times that if he really loved him, he would have to take care of his sheep. Follow him and take care of his sheep. Take care of his people. So he concept that you may find useful to remember from this gospel. It was clear that the mission, his apostles, was not to go back to their old jobs as fishermen, but that instead they were called by the Lord to get people to him. Peter was elected by the Lord to be the leader of his church, with the utmost important duty to take care of his people. The successor of Peter, all the Holy Fathers, who are also the bishops of Rome, have the God-given mission to do the same for all the world. And they have been doing that for more than 2,000 years. So let me ask you just a few review questions. Why did Jesus consider it necessary to show himself for the third time to his apostles? He considered it necessary. That's why he did it. What did Jesus ask Peter to do? Who is in charge to guide the church in delivering the message of redemption and forgiveness of sins today? References we're taking the Good News Translation GNT and from the Catechism of the Catholic Church. This is Alejandro Burgos from El Paso, Texas. This was the gospel for today, and I see you next Sunday. Please don't forget,